Rana Rahimpour, one of the presenters of BBC Persian, gave me an insight into the state of play with the nuclear deal.
We have had unconfirmed reports of Iran suggesting different clauses to the Americans, but overall it just seems like an impossible situation at the moment. They really didn't put any offers on the table that made it easy for the Americans, specifically asking the Americans to remove Iran's Revolutionary Guards out of their list of terrorist groups, which obviously it was impossible for the Americans to agree with. They want a deal that doesn't exist and can't exist.
In what way?
First, they wanted guarantees from the Americans that no matter who the next president of the United States will be, the agreement will stand. And it was impossible.
Does Iran want to be a nuclear-armed power, do you think?
Well, they say they don't, but there are many signs that contradicts their claim.
Why would they want to have nuclear weapons? I mean, they're just asking for trouble, aren't they?
Because they have survived sanctions. And once you're nuclear powered, you will have a seat at a table that guarantees your existence. You're kind of untouchable. It's a matter of survival.
But they are facing not just the West, not just the United States and Western Europe, but they're facing this extraordinary alliance, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United Arab Emirates. They're not going to get away with being a nuclear power with those kind of powers ranged against them, are they?
On one hand, it seems that the nuclear talks have reached a dead end. On the other hand, Iran is increasing its nuclear activities, is decreasing its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, and it's giving them every excuse to be worried. Just this week, Israel asked for an air defense alliance, which include the United States. We know that Biden administration has had a U-turn in its relations towards Saudi Arabia. President Biden is traveling to Saudi Arabia next month. We all know that the reason many of these countries are now getting closer to each other is because of their common enemy, i.e. Iran. So we are now reaching to a point that I personally can't see a way out. What's the exit strategy? No one's offering any peaceful solution for a situation that can easily get out of control.
It does look, doesn't it, as though Israel is really ramping up the pressure on Iran. I mean, do you think there's something boiling up there?
There is definitely that feeling that in the last couple of months, Israel, that had already warned that they will stop Iranian nuclear program whatsoever at any cost, there's a general feeling that they have increased their activities. Obviously, they never take responsibility for it, but there are many signs to indicate that they're behind so many of these suspicious deaths of Iranians who are working not only in the Iranian nuclear program, but also its missile program. One mistake, and it can really change the future of the region. And we are at that point.
And by mistake, you mean somebody perhaps a little bit too important gets murdered?
Exactly. So suddenly a senior Iranian commander gets assassinated, and the Iranians would think, okay, enough. If they feel they are put in a corner, there might be a knee-jerk reaction which can create a lot of problems.
When we've talked in the past, you've told me about your family in Iran. Are you worried about them?
I'm extremely worried. And it's not just the possibility of a war, but everything else in terms of inflation, pollution, the climate crisis. The Islamic Republic, 40 years after the Islamic Republic, has left the country in ruins. So yes, of course I'm worried. You can't be an Iranian and not be worried.